بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يجعل نياتنا خالصة لوجهه الكريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Today's scattered thoughts is going to be really scattered. I have a lot of things on my mind that I think about, that I've been thinking about. And I benefit greatly from these scattered thoughts. I don't know. It's like getting to speak out loud. It's things that just roam around in our mind without talking to myself and looking crazy because I'm talking to you. Uh, I enjoy it. Uh, and I had this program, Scattered Thoughts. I had it in my mind for years, right? I always wanted to do it. Uh, and so now that I finally, after we started it and we have it out, it's something that's become like a part of me. I enjoy it. My mind has so many scattered thoughts that I get to put ideas out without being in a form. I'm not a type of person that likes to be in a box. So the scattered thoughts takes me outside the box. When they say think outside the box, I always think outside the box, right? Uh, but one thing I had in my mind was two aspects to it. And I'm going to speak from our side. I remember during the thing, during the George Floyd issue, which I hate about my people. I hate this aspect about Black people. I don't like it. We forget too quickly, right? We'll we like trendy people in a way. Not every single one of us, but in general, too many of us are trendy. We don't know how to stick to something and stay with it, right? To completion. Uh, and that's why we always find ourselves in the same conditions later, right? It don't change because we don't follow through and finish it. So during the George Floyd situation, we had this concept that we talked about, and I don't know if y'all remember. We said black Muslims matter. I remember that. And because I said something during that time, and it still exists, that whatever Black people as a whole feel in the society, unfortunately, tragically, Black Muslims feel that within Islam, right? So from our side, there's a lot of trauma, pain, anger, displeasure, the way others have treated us in the religion. That's a fact. What we do with is another story because everyone is different how they respond to that. But that condition is real, right? And it shouldn't be undermined. So that's from one side of it. And we should always diligently work to change it. From the other side of those who are the perpetrators of wrongdoings towards Black Muslims, they need to take a deep look into Islam and to see, does the religion, which it does not, call for the behavior that you display towards your fellow Muslim brother and sister who are of a different ethnicity than you. And I'm having this discussion because sometimes people talk to us in a way that is rude and disrespectful because we allow them, or too many of us allow them to do that. And one of the ways that people, and I lived among Arabs, so I can speak that specifically because I lived among Arabs. And I've seen how Arabs in power treated Black people who were impoverished or who weren't in a position of power. I've seen that all around the globe. I've seen it. It's not something no one can tell me the difference. I've seen it in almost every country. And I've been and traveled in the Arab world. So I've seen it. Can't convince me of anything different. And I know the difference of me getting treated as an American and those Africans or dark colored Indians or Bengalis. I've seen how they get treated and the difference. I remember a story I'll tell you in Saudi Arabia. I won't mention the people, but I'll mention the story. A well-known sheikh in Saudi Arabia and his friends, his family, they all wealthy. So my wife, at the time, she was with me traveling in Saudi Arabia. And so she went with this woman, but this one woman, she was like a mover and shaker. She had a lot of money. So she would break all the customs of Saudi Arabia. So now you see all these women wanting to drive, wanting to do their stuff. She was one of those women before it was famous. Like she was rich and she used to just buck the system. And she had a driver, and they all had like drivers and servants, right? When they were all the way from Bangladesh or the Philippines somewhere, they was from somewhere else, poor people, right? And so we had met at a restaurant, and I never forget this, that I had talked to the driver because he was driving me around or something. And it was a darker, I don't know, from one of them countries, Bangladesh or uh, one of them small countries that are poor. I forget which one. It might have not have been Bangladesh. It was one of them. I forget. But we went to the restaurant. So we go in, and I noticed that this guy waiting in the car. So I went to the car. I'm like, "Come on in," and he was like, afraid. He said, "No, no, 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 no. I eat here. I eat here." I said, "Huh?" I said, "Nah, not with me. You don't eat here. You coming in and you eating with us." And if you would have saw the fear in his eyes of the thought of coming and sitting with everyone else, it would have made you angry just looking at his fear. So I told the lady, I said, because I, I had a little money too. So I ain't have Saudi money, but I had money. So I was empowered at that time. So I'm like, I got my own bread and I was actually doing business. So that I wasn't impressed, right? And I said, I don't know about y'all culture, but we don't do that. He's coming in and he's eating, or I ain't eating. Mr. Amin, Mr. Amin, and because they wanted to do business too. Mr. Amin, Mr. Amin, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. I said, I know it's not like that. He's eating. And the whole meal, you should have saw him like, as he saw that he wasn't going to get in trouble at that moment, and he believed that I had his back. He was so happy and he was eating. And I was like, a human being should never feel like that. Right. And I saw this in Lebanon too, the same type of situation. There was a young girl. We went and visited this family. They had a young girl, dark-skinned girl. She was like a servant. She was a slave, modern day slavery. Uh, so we went to visit. She's in the kitchen cooking the food and everything and serving. And somehow I went to the bathroom or something. And I noticed she had a cot on the kitchen floor. And while we're sitting at the table, she got a little bowl sitting on a cat and on a mattress on the floor. Crap, right? And I always call that stuff out, right? But this is the same behavior that the person who does this when they're in power, meaning if they ever over top of you, that's how they're going to treat you. And when you forget this mentality, you will deal with such a person in a way that's not befitting for their situation. You give them too much credit. You would give them too much credit. So religiously, they will treat you like they treat those poor people because they would consider themselves religiously more wealthy than you in a higher position than you, and then they will mentally and spiritually enslave you, if you follow my analogy. So when they're in power over you, they feel as though you're inferior, and they go back to that type of mentality that they've watched their people do to others, and they will do it just religiously. And it's not always because a person in and of himself is bad. It is they came up in a bad culture. And that bad culture shaped them and molded them. So they can never see a black man or woman in charge of them. It goes against the cultural mold that they were formed in or shaped in. And what I gather from this is a message is that as Black Muslims in America, I'm speaking about us, we have to establish our own in order to be on an equal playing field when we are dealing with others. Right? We have to realize that. You can't come to an arrogant person with your head bowed down. And you can't. You have to face them, as my daddy used to say. Look them in the eyes. Don't put your head down to them. Because when you're dealing with arrogant people, you have to repel their arrogance with extreme confidence. That could appear to be arrogance. A message to the house Negro, the Muslim house Negro, right? Right? I'm talking to you. And I'm talking to whoever subjugates you. So I'm talking to you and the one who subjugates you. You don't represent Black folk, especially Black Muslims. Right? You don't. And our ancestors would love to hang you from trees. You're a worse enemy to us than the ones who are enslaving or trying to suppress us. Or when I say enslaving, I don't mean by physical bondage, mental bondage, spiritual bondage, still enslavement. You're the worst, you're worse than them. Because it is because of you that they believe they can treat us the way they treat us. And I called it as I called it. It's too many of you trying to be other than yourself. And bowing your head, dancing when there's no music, smiling when nothing ain't funny, scratching your head when it doesn't itch. You are our worst enemy. And Malcolm X spoke about people like you. Alhaji Malik Shabazz spoke about people like you. And all of our leaders who are great leaders recognize that you're a problem. Because I told you the same problem that black folk have in the world, black Muslims have in Islam. So you put someone who's really weak, who's really not like that, in a position to disrespect our people because you a tap dancing Negro. And thinking about it, I get kind of disturbed. So let me bring it down a little bit. Because if it wasn't so many of you, we could do better as a people. We would be in a different position if you stood up as a man or a woman and served the interests of your people within Islam instead of serving or being subservient to someone else's issues. I know some of them, still to this day, with all the knowledge that black folks have about the religion, with all the access that black folks have about the religion of Islam, you still got Negroes who believe that the white man's ice is colder, whether it's the Arab man or the Pakistani man or other than that. This is a mentality that we must break. Seriously. And I want to tell those who take advantage of such people, they don't represent us. And don't get used to those Muslim house Negroes and the way they deal with you to think all of us are not going to deal with you like that. That's a mistake you're making. We ain't like that. We don't need you. We don't. We don't. We don't need you for knowledge. We don't need you for money. We don't need you for nothing. So the idea that we're going to bow down to you because we need you, you're insane. We don't need your permission. We don't need your help. We don't. So we're not going to do anything to get your help. We're not. We don't need your help. We don't need you to teach us. We don't need your nothing you got. We don't. We have the ability to build whatever we need to build ourselves. So whenever you deal with us, you're going to deal with us as equals, or we're not going to deal with you at all. No, this is serious. We need to understand that. The days of black Muslims being subjugated by others are coming to an end. Them days is over. Get used to it. They're done, finished. And the few that are left won't last long. Not if I can help it. Not if I can inspire my people to rise up. Them days is over. And I want to say this to you. Whatever we don't know, we'll figure it out. Whatever we don't know, we will figure it out. Once we get ourselves together as a people, you'll be surprised how strong we are. Once we get ourselves together. Once we realize that we have within our collective everything we need. Let me put that. we have within our collective everything we need. We don't need anything else. We have it. What we have to do is bring our resources together for our collective good. If we do that, we don't need anything else. And guess what? That is best for the ummah of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we do that. That is best for the ummah of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when we do that. Some people don't want to hear this message. They want us to stay a weakened and broken people who can't accomplish anything. They want it to do it. No, we can. We can do it. We can do it. All you got to do is say no. We have to do it. And guess what? When you come on equal footing, the whole game will change. The whole situation will change. That's why I said stop leaving your culture. If you look at the music industry, This is something we know. Black artists have been for decades abused, used, and others have profited off their talents. And slowly but surely, many of our people begin to realize, wait, ho. You can't keep taking all the money. This is my stuff. These are my skill. Now I got to get paid too. In fact, I'm owning the rights to all my stuff. And when they started to do that, you started to notice more Black entertainers who became millionaires, and some of them became billionaires. And it only took one or two to learn the game and say, guess what? We don't need you. Right? In fact, I'll sell this music out my trunk. You know what I'm doing right now? Every morning, I'm selling Islam out my trunk. Every morning. Every morning. I'm out the back of my trunk in the hood throwing my CDs around every day. And guess what? We're independent. The big label can't buy us. We've earned the love of the hood, and they support us so we can keep going. We own our own stuff. We own our own building. We own everything we need. We do what we want. Right? If you I'm relating to you something that you understand. Right? And guess what? Every day we dropping hits. Every day we dropping hits. We always in the studio making new music every day. And now the big label got to be concerned about us. Because if you see we can do it, you can too. Imam Amin is just like you. All you got to do is own your masters, get in your trunk, and push it. And pretty soon, your music, in terms of your knowledge, in terms of your understanding, is going to be all over the place. Right? And people going to spread it. Just like when they used to make the mixtapes. They just spread it like wildfire. Right? So we watched our people do it. We could do it in Islam. Same thing. Take another analogy. For us who used to be in the game in the streets, in our neighborhoods, you always had the people with the product, but they can't come in the neighborhood and set up shop. That ain't happening. Absolutely not. They're going to break off you. They're not coming in the neighborhood and setting up shop. That's not going to happen. No way. Dude may be the man, but if he step in those projects, he gonna get taken out. That's how it's happening. We controlled our own areas. We controlled our own areas. But then we get in Islam and we start to surrender everything to others. And then we're subjugated. That doesn't mean you hate others. I'm talking about self-empowerment and improvement and development. It's something we have to do. And then when we do that, and the others now respect you, together you can work together to build something real great. You follow what I'm saying? When Jay-Z was in Marcy Projects, the executives in the business world and the music wasn't talking about talking to him. But once he started strengthening himself, putting himself in a stronger position, having his own label, having his own people, right? The whole things is different, right? I was watching, because I started studying our people, because we got to reach our people. So I was watching a show, a podcast, and they asked one of the rappers, who would you prefer as a CEO? Jay-Z or Dame Dash? That was a question. And the person paused. And he said both. And he mentioned the reasons why. He said, Jay-Z's, he's smooth with it. So he can negotiate. He said, but Dame Dash ain't taking no crap. The meaning. He's going in there and is demanding. Boom! Right? He said, but if Dame Dash had that smoothness of Jay-Z, it would be Dame Dash hands down. I want to say, but these are our people who are dealing with people way more powerful than the people we deal with. Follow what I'm saying? These are our people who are dealing with way more powerful people than we deal with in our Islamic engagement with others. So we can learn something from that. If we don't have it, I'm talking about. They go in those boardrooms with sharks. And they come out empowered. If you understand my point, this is stuff we relate to, right? We need to do that within our deen. Just lawful stuff. But the means of doing it is the same. So when we sit at a table, we don't sit at a table with our hands out. Nah, this is what we bring to the table. This is who we are. And now either we negotiating or you get lost, we'll settle out the trunk. That's how Master P was. He told a story. And I just want us to think about these things because it relates to us. He said he went to a label and they told him, we'll give you $1 million. He looked at the guy. He said, $1 million. He said, yeah, we'll give you $1 million. He said, no, thank you. I'll see you later. He walked out. And he said, people around was like, what the heck? You just walked out on $1 million deal. He said, if he's going to give me $1 million, how much am I really worth? You heard what he said? If he's going to give me $1 million, how much am I really worth? One second. I'm going to tell you a story. I've had multiple, this happened to me in Islam. I'm going to share the story with you. I won't tell you who, so don't start guessing. Several organizations. I used to be on the circuit. We call it the show, Sheikh Abdul Karim Yahya. I used to be on the show, right? And someone told me the other day, they thought I was a token Negro. Not the other day, a couple weeks ago, somebody told me they thought I was a token Negro because I was on the show and I was like one of the only black guys on the show. So I got offers, several of them, for a nice salary, benefits, Hajj trips, Umrah trips, to go join different organizations. Now, I'm an imam and I have a masjid, right? But they made that offer because when we were starting, it was a struggle, right? You know, you're trying to build and trying to pay off your building and, you know, all that stuff. And I remember one offer, man, that joint was, it was nice, right? Nice, comfortable offer. And I said to the heads of the organization, I was like, that's all nice, but I got to take care of my people. I can't do that. And that would entail me leaving my people, and I can't do that. And I never forget what was said to me. And I don't think the person meant it hard like this, but they said to me, you can be, Masjid Muhammad can be our sister organization. Now, if you get to know me, I was totally insulted. I wanted to smack him, I'll be honest. I wanted to pop him, but I understand they didn't even understand the significance of what he was saying. You know, Masjid Muhammad was established in 1955. 1955. The person, they started knowing about Islam in the 90s. Right? Really learning about the deen in the 90s and going to tell us we can be their sister organization. I was like, this guy's kidding me. Can't be serious. Right? For me to accept something like that would be spitting in the face of everyone who struggled before me. And now, those same people, instead of making some silly offer like that, now they're saying, how can we cooperate together? You heard what I said? That was the silly offer. Now those same people, it's like, how can we work together? What can we do together? Had I just said, yes, sir, boss, let me take that. I need that. That would make me feel nice and comfortable, and forgot the power of my people, I would be a servant to this day. I probably wouldn't even still be with them. They would have worked me, burned me out, and kicked me to the curb as soon as the next token Negro came along. And that's just a habit, and no one necessarily, I'm not talking about someone's intentions. I'm just talking about the reality of things on the ground, how they work, right? And I'm telling you these things because each and every one of us have the same ability. And I shared it from the dunya that we see it. Bring that analogy to the deen so you can see it. And hopefully we can produce a positive reality. If y'all understand what I mean. And this is my thoughts, because this is happening now with us. So we need to be reminded. We can cooperate, but we must lead. For our own mental and spiritual and emotional sanity, we must be in charge. It's not about the others. It's about our own physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional sanity. We must be in charge. Everyone put this up. Because our enemy watches us. And we must let them know what their looks when they're talking to us, what they're facing. Everyone put that up. Help me send them a message. And the house Negroes need a message too. Please send that message. Help me send that message, because they don't get it. And maybe the more of us who say it will help them get it. Let them see that there's enough conscious people among us who realize what we have to do. Let them see it. That's an affirmative no. You will not rule over us. That's an affirmative no. You will not rule over us. We are very capable people. We have the ability to build. We have the ability to sustain and develop our own legacy. But we must understand that ourselves. And when we do that, the whole situation will be different. Globally, others do it naturally. Unfortunately, we got to be pushed to do it ourselves. Others, they do it naturally. They naturally do it as a survival mechanism for their people. They do it naturally. Because of slavery and so many other things, we got to be pushed to do it. But no problem. Let's get pushed. Let's push ourselves. And empower your people. Empower your people. Empower your people. Stop helping your people be in a weak position. Empower your people. Because I'm telling you, and this is a message for those non-Black African-American Muslims, we good people. If we was in charge, we wouldn't do that. This wouldn't even be a discussion if we were in charge. Our nature is not like that. You need to get to know us. We good people. We would never do that. If we had the narrative under our control, we would never treat people like that. We would never do it. Our nature, even outside of Islam, is a compassionate, caring, nurturing nature as a people. We are a loving people. We would never do it. Our people are warm-hearted. We would never treat people badly. We won't do it. It goes against our nature. We would harm ourselves before we would harm others. It's sad. And all you got to do is go look in the hood and you'll see that. We love others so much, we would harm ourselves before we would harm somebody else. And it's obvious. We do it. We'll harm ourselves before we would even harm our enemy. That's how good we are as a people. So it is to the benefit of the ummah that we control a narrative. It is for the benefit of the ummah. So understand, when you help us, you're helping us help you and help the ummah and push it forward. Because what you don't realize is it was Black people who believed in their understanding of Islam that made the way for you to be so comfortable in America. Trust me, you don't know the white man as we do. But your comfort in this country is due to our goodness. Your comfort in America is due to our goodness and our struggle. You need to realize that. So the fact that you could come in our country, in America, and in our neighborhoods and build a good life for yourself on our backs shows you how good we are as a people. You shouldn't do that. But the fact that we allow you to do that shows you our good nature as a people. And you shouldn't take advantage of that. You should appreciate it. And you should increase people like that, of that good nature, not subjugate them and oppress them and abuse them and take from them and shortchange them. There's a whole difference. So I'll end with that. That's my scattered thoughts. Because it's too many of us that are allowing ourselves to be oppressed. And we got to stop that stuff, man. You got to have some self-love. You do. It's not haram in Islam. It's recommended for you to love yourself. You can't love no one else if you don't learn to love yourself. And I'm going to keep ringing this bell or ringing that alarm till we get it, right? Because it's not enough of us who get it. And somebody have to say it. And more of us have to say it. So today's post, I want y'all to do me a favor, every single one of you. And I'm going to look. Copy that. Black Muslims must control their own narrative. I want that to be the post on everyone's post today. Everyone put that as a post. Copy and paste it. And put it on everyone's post. Let's close it out one more time so I can go to post-Fajr reflections. Everyone put it. Black Muslims must control their own narrative. I want that the last thing people see, please. And make that, everyone share it and make it a post on your thing. Trust me, people are watching and they're listening. They're paying attention. And sometimes people don't have the courage to do what they need to do. They need you to empower them. They feel it, but they don't know what to do or how to do it, or they don't have the courage or the wherewithal to do it. We got to be their strength. All right, Barakallahu Bikum. I'll see y'all at the post-Fajr reflections. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.